Just run it in and we'll
Oh,
go from there,
sweet.
yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Brave Moment.
Hello.
It's so lovely to have you. We're sat here at the moment in the Street Factory in a very, very cool place. It's the first time I've come down here. How long have you had this place?
So this place we have now for 3 years.
Yeah.
So we have this building for 3 years right now, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And how has your teaching developed in this space?
Oh, amazingly, especially having your own home, your own house.
Yeah.
And especially people that come here feel like part of your family, so you're really relaxed. It's a really great environment, and especially this space at the minute allows you to do anything and everything, and that's the beauty about this place.
I love it, and I love that you extend this family space, as it were, to pretty much everyone in Plymouth. Talking of family though, I want to take you back to your childhood. What is the strongest memory you have of your childhood?
I think one of my strongest memories is one day having a disagreement with my mum about everything, and getting out the house, and where we lived, right across from us, was a church. And looking at the church, remember the time, remember the date, and going, I'm not going to live this type of life. Wow. And that was from a child making a decision, really, really strong decision in my life. And I'm living it.
That's amazing. Whereabouts were you?
So I was born in Poland, so that was in Poland, in a city called Bielsko-Biała. And it was a afternoon, it was a Saturday. My mum told me off for something, and there was other stuff going on, and I was just ran out of the house, looked up at the church, because we're quite a religious family, we're brought up. So I looked up at the church and spoke to God, and I said, God, I'm not going to live that type of life. I want a better life. And it's amazing to be here right now and even talk about it, because that was a decision I made when I was really young. And that's crazy to make a decision that young and now to live it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it is a rags to riches story, isn't it? Basically, what you're living now. What smell reminds you of home?
Oh, food. I love food. Food with me is one of my favourite things. Food is like, I think because it was so important to my mum and to our culture, food was like, when you walk in somebody's house, someone offers you a cup of tea in England. And back home, it was like food. And if you didn't eat, you're like, were really rude to the host, do you know what I mean? So you had to eat. And the worst thing was, imagine if you went to 4 or 5 houses during the day. You had to eat on 4 or 5 houses. So I think for me, the smell home would be food, because it just, makes you feel happy.
Anything in particular?
Oh, one of my favourite things, one of the Polish dishes is pierogi. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it's like a pastry, but like a pasta pastry.
Ooh.
With cheese and like a goat cheese with potatoes and onions and herbs, and it's all done into like a little half moon. Oh, beautiful.
Sounds delicious. You're making me hungry, and especially since before this interview, you were telling me how you are actually you're not eating at the moment, are you?
Yes, I'm fasting. So I fast from 12 in the afternoon. From the 8 o'clock in the evening to 12 in the afternoon. Then I can eat all day, but then I fast in those times.
So that smell of home, that smell of food right now must be so delicious in your mind.
Definitely.
I love it. So obviously you had that moment in front of the church saying, I'm not going to live that type of life. When did you discover then that you could dance?
I think that was something that happened when I was really young. But it's something that I think in our families and our culture was part of who we are, what we do. So it wasn't nothing extraordinary, it wasn't nothing special, because we all did it. But what was different about me, I did it differently. So I used my Romani Gypsy tradition dance of style, but then I've learned hip hop, and I kind of integrated both of these things together. So I had my own little edge and own little twist to it. And I think that is what was the kind of different thing about it.
That's really cool. So obviously you've just mentioned that hip hop was quite a big deal when you were younger. Who were your biggest influences, and how did they inspire you?
I think one of the biggest ones would be Tupac and Michael Jackson. My sister loved Michael Jackson, my brother loved Tupac, and that was my only influence that was something different. Michael Jackson was this kind of dressing cool, looking always cool, this dance with the moonwalk, everyone knows that it was the thing. But then when I've got involved with it and learned about Tupac, I was like, yo, this is cool, this is really nice, do you know what I mean? But then later on in my life, I've learned and discovered more things about hip hop culture. So that was more that kind of commercial stuff I was introduced to. But then I actually discovered the culture, the real core of what hip hop is.
What is hip hop culture?
So hip hop is really beautiful because it was built on struggle, was built on pain, was built on, how can I say, the kind of fight for freedom. And what it came up with was beautiful because it came up with music, it came up with art, came up with culture, came up with unity, came up with this whole thing which was beautiful. So there's a couple of foundations that are based on hip hop culture, which is respect, peace, love, unity, and having fun.
I want to be part of that culture.
But most people are without knowing that they are. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things, but because we say hip hop, people think you have to dress a certain way, be a certain way, and be into certain things. You don't. Do you know what I mean? I've got people that feel that they're hip hop and they're in their 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
So there is no age to it, there's no nothing, there's no culture, there's no religion, there's no nothing to it, except you as a person bring the good stuff to the culture.
I just want to live in your world 24/7. It sounds amazing. So you were there as a child, you're being influenced into this culture. What educational steps did you take to get to where you are?
Personally, I think one of my beginning journeys, I really struggled in school.
Yeah.
I really struggled in school because of my upbringing back in Poland and racism and everything else. I really struggled with my teachers.
Where did you go to school?
So I was born in Poland, so I went to Polish school.
Yeah.
And then from Poland we moved to England, so then I went here to Lipson Community College. And that's when I think my journey of learning, I think, started, because there were different types of teachers.
Yeah.
There was a different foundation here. One of the things I really liked, teachers really wanted to help me, for me to succeed, which was different. Because back home it was like, you're the kind of, how can I say, the dirty gypsy, be quiet, just kind of move to the side, let's just deal with our own kids. Which was a shame, you know what I mean? Because I always believed that children are just innocent as children. It's about giving them an opportunity. And I think I was given that when I came here to Plymouth. I had amazing teachers. One lady inspired me, really, really good. She didn't kind of, I would say physically hit me, but mentally she hit me with a couple of lines.
Yeah.
And it was all about, like, I had this thing about that people didn't like me because of who I am, because it was. But lots of times it was proven because it was what it was. But she taught me a lesson to give people a chance.
Yeah.
Not to put people in a box, because that's what people done to me.
Yeah.
Put me in a box, say all the gypsies are bad, all the gypsies are criminals. So I was one of them. Nobody gave me a chance. Nobody saw me. I wanted people just to see me, and she saw me. So as my teacher, I think she gave me a great platform to start from as a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah. Do you think that you've taken her message forward into your own teaching?
100%. 100%. I think the kindness she gave me inspired me to be that to others.
Yeah, yeah. So do you see a lot of yourself in the kids that you teach today?
100%. 100%.
How do they remind you of you?
One of the most beautiful things is how much they care for others. That's beautiful, because I always say to people, what I give you today, please go and give to somebody else. And that's one of the most beautiful things. We call it the ripple effect. We call it a teach to teach moment, when you stand back and you see a new child walking in first time, and they're really shy and scared, and they stand in the corner, and one of the little kids walks up, shakes their hand, and says, "Come with me." Priceless.
That is unbelievable, actually, in this day and age where everyone's attached to their phone, and you've got that culture of turning your kids away to look at their phones, to have such respectful, decent young human beings coming up in your care. I mean, that must constantly surprise you every day.
It's phenomenal. I think it's beautiful for me to see it and to be part of it, because it is so exciting, because it constantly happens, and constantly little different gems are popping up and things are happening. It's just beautiful to be in that environment, to be able to see it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so is there a song that when you dance it, it just takes over your soul? And what is that song?
There isn't one song. That's the hard part, I think, about music and about being a dancer, being an artist, I know some people might have the song. I don't. I think there is a song that has passion and love and power in the melody and the lyrics, and it just takes over. I mean, one of the things I would say, lots of times when I listen to my Romani Gypsy stuff, that like takes me home, that takes me to my core and takes me back. And that is just like, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. But then sometimes you get this really dope crump or hip hop or breakbeat or this beautiful violin, and it just takes you to another place. Do you know, I'm absolutely interested in the word crump. I have no idea what it means. Tell me what crump is. So crump is a dance style, and it's a very powerful, aggressive, energetic dance style. Right now, crump has developed so much. It's got a lot of popping, which is tensing and releasing of your muscles. So it has, but it's very like and very heavy. So kind of using your body language to express what you're doing and what you're saying with your body. But it's very powerful.
I'm just absolutely fascinated. I mean, just listeners, so that you can just experience what I've just experienced. So Toby's just been sat here now, and just in 3 seconds of movement that you've just given me, I feel like I've had like a whole story just thrown in my face. I mean, it's such a gift what you have. How on earth did you find it? Can you remember the first dance that you ever sort of danced in public?
Yeah, that would be at home,
Yeah.
being a little child, and I've learned the running man. The one you run on the spot like backwards, like.
Yeah.
So I've learned that move, and when I did it, my whole family started laughing. I was like, "Oh, they think I'm brilliant. I'm amazing." But what I didn't realise, they were laughing at me. But that did give me confidence. I was good at something. But as well, they used to put bets on, because my mum used to have this glass cabinet with these beautiful glass and plates and stuff, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
And my uncles used to put bets on which plate or glass am I going to smash, because I used to do it so heavy, like really go for it. But that was my first kind of where I performed to the family and did stuff like that. And that was, it was a bit of fun, but it kind of encouraged me to do this and became part of my life, became something like brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
It was something you do.
Oh my God, you're making me so inspired. I mean, I used to dance when I was really small, up until I was about 15, and then I was like, no, I'm interested in boys now, and I totally gave it up. It's such a shame, because like just watching you just do that 3 seconds of movement, I'm so inspired already. When you're dancing, are you thinking about the steps in advance, or does the dance kind of teach you?
See, the thing about dance for me personally, it's in that moment, it's the situation you're in, which is the space, the sound, the music, the feeling I carry from the day, the clothes I wear, the shoes I have on, because that makes a big difference to me. Like if I wear these, I want to crump, I want to be heavy, I want to be stomping.
What
so
shoes
I'm wearing
do you have
boots,
on? Yeah,
so I'm wearing
big
boots,
boots.
so then you want to be stomping and be heavy, and you know what I mean, that kind of inspires you to do that. But it's always about the moment for me. It's being in the moment, lose everything. Get lost in a spot. So imagine you're in a dark room and there's one spotlight, and that's what it feels like. When nothing else matters, is this moment.
Do you find that today, with social media and stuff being so prevalent in young people's lives, do you find that that ability to let go and just be in the moment is almost lost, and you have to bring it out of them because they're so self-conscious about being seen to be wrong?
I think I feel really, how can I say, sad, maybe deep, but in a kind of way for the next generation, because they have so many pressures. They don't realise by the social media. Well, what we see in social media is perfection. We don't see the downs, we don't see the before you got there, before you put on your makeup, before you get your six pack, we just see the best of the best of the best.